Good morning, Giants. Welcome to Wake Up with Giants TV. Have you ever wondered the difference between perception and reality? We got a great show. Good morning, Giants. Welcome to Wake Up Giants TV. I'm Ryan Morris. That's Nick.
I'm Nick.
This
Nick
guy
Smith.
over here.
That's Rit.
That's Rit.
Yeah.
That's Nick. That's Rit.
Ryan. Oh, we got our first guest today. Ryan Morris, man. Welcome to the show. Yeah.
Hello.
It's the difference between perception and reality.
Well,
Dude, I'm dragging this morning, honestly. Tired.
well,
Been up since about 4:30.
yeah.
Yeah. Shipping books.
Shipping the books.
Shipping books.
Awesome. Well, yeah, Nick threw this at me this morning and was like, "Hey, what do you want to talk about?" Smiley faces. Good morning, anonymous Facebook users.
Hello, Facebook user.
And Teresa.
Good morning, y'all.
So I was thinking about perception and reality. I have a manager that a boss that would say this a lot, and it gets you to think. So I work in sales, and so he would say, "Okay, so there's perception, there's reality." So he would ask us, "How many people do you think came into the dealership this week? How many customers?" Or he'd say,
Hey,
how does
Dan.
how does it feel throughout the week? Like, what have you guys been feeling? And he'd kind of do a straw poll. People would be like, "Oh man, it's been so slow. Sales are down. It's the worst, blah, blah, blah." And then he'd throw out the numbers, and the amount of traffic that came through the dealership was up. Sales were up. All these different things. And he'd say there's perception and there's reality, like the numbers don't lie. And he'd go through those things with you.
Okay.
So I started thinking about it like personally, like, you can have those perceptions. Other people can have perceptions about you, but what is the truth? What's the reality behind it all? And then maybe, like also thinking about what are you projecting so that other people, maybe that's their reality or their perception of you.
Yeah. Okay. So I see where you're going.
I see what you did there.
Oh, I see what you did. So
And now I'm turning it over to Nick.
yeah,
Nick,
reality.
what are your thoughts?
Let's talk about reality. So reality is the way that it actually is. So if you look at that word, that's what it means. It's real, it's actual, it's measurable, it's experiential. Not even experiential, it's eventful. So it could be an event in your environment. So it's just the thing, right? The reality is the environment or the event. The experience or the perception is your understanding of it. So it comes from pair, meaning through or thorough.
I love pairs.
Perceive is to grasp it. And so you grasp it, or you understand it, to have a thorough understanding of what you're experiencing or seeing. And a poem. Yeah. There we go.
Yeah.
We won't put that on the screen because it's ginormous, but it'll be in the comments there. So the perception is our understanding of it. If a person comes in and does something, then whatever they do, but our interpretation of it is the perception. Or like you're talking about your job, and maybe there's other things as well that brought this up for you. But you show up a certain way, another person understands you a certain way. So it doesn't matter how you show up, they're always going to understand you from their own beliefs and thoughts and experiences. And those experiences are always from their interpretation. So it really depends on what they kind of hold as truths, right? So it really doesn't matter what you do. People are going to understand you the way they understand you. So that's really what perception is, or they're going to understand an event or an experience or a thing like your work, right? however they believe it. And so that work could do anything, and that person will come in and believe it their way or perceive it their way based on what they put in here. And so perception is flexible and malleable, but some people act as though it's not. You can't change your perception, right? Well, let's see. You cannot change their lens, until you change their perception. Well, you can't change their perception. That's their job. Take it a little further. You can't change their lens. That's their job. Just like nobody else can change your lens. That's your job. And
so go back to like mirror, like being a mirror. Sometimes people, they just see what they need to see or what they want to see.
Yeah, I mean, your truth is your truth. Yeah, we're the yin and yang of the tribe of giants.
You know, it's funny.
That's your perception, Hugh.
I was going to say there's
maybe,
you know, some people at home are going, oh, it's Ryan and Nick again.
Right.
That's how they perceive us.
We're hoping you perceive us as
like,
yeah,
incredibly handsome and amazing.
Yeah. These guys have beautiful faces. That's the
reality.
Right. Yeah. So when you're honest, yeah, like this post right here, you have the responsibility of being honest with yourself. Let's talk about the word honest, which means ownership, right? It's owning your truths. And everybody's truth is relative. And so we're going to get philosophical here, is that one person's version of the world will be different from another person's. Like, we don't see it the same way. Yet we go around in our bubbles, and I wrote about this in my book, The Art of Accomplishment, the bubble perspective, right? Mm-hmm. We go around in our bubbles and like, this is the way the world is. This is the way it works. And we bump up against other people's bubbles, and they're like, hey, there's another way of seeing it. And we're like, nah, I got my bubble. This is the way the world works. So no matter what you do over there, I'm going to see it my way. Honesty is owning the bubble. Honesty is owning your truth, whatever that truth is. So honesty doesn't mean that you're telling the truth as though there's some global truth. And this is where it might rub up against people wrong, is that there's this idea and this concept that there's this absolute truth. And maybe there's some things that we can count on, but we perceive the world and we create a relative truth. And then when we own that becomes honesty. And so, man, I might feel like Ryan's a complete a-hole, and I could see that as a truth. And then honesty would be like, hey, what I own is that I see Ryan this way, right? Dean Martin, Jerry Lewis. I love it. What's up, man? Mr. Hugh Jacobson. Yeah, we see it like this. We don't see the world the way it is. We see the world the way we are. And that's a masterful way of looking at it. So your choice of seeing the world is going to influence how you show up in the world. But it's a choice. It's a decision. Like, you can change that. It's malleable. It's moldable. It's changeable. But people go through the world and they're like, I can't because you did this. And then their belief is that you did something, and there's nothing you can do about it because their belief is that you did something. And so they see you that way. And so no matter what you do, they're always going to perceive it from that point of view that you did something to them. So they show up as the victim, and there's nothing you can do about it. And so, just really like that last statement there, that your perception, like, you don't see the world the way it is, you see the world the way you are. And if we even look at reality, get really deep here. The reality of the world, we look at it and we think, oh, it's tangible, it's hard. I can knock on this foam, my hand doesn't go through it, right? But that thing's made of mostly empty space. Mostly empty space. You take all the space out of humans, all of the humans on the world today, they fit in the space the size of a sugar cube. 7 billion people. You take all the space out of them, and they become the size of a sugar cube, all 7 billion of them. Yet we say that's a reality. And then you go into physics, where it says that reality can only occur when there's an observer present. So without an observer, particles and photons don't hold together. So therefore, there is no reality. Yet we go around and we're like, this thing's tangible. I can count on this. And we can, but we still have to have this perception of what it is. So we mold our world based on what we think, what we believe. So like emotions, I'm going to go on a rant, Ryan.
That's why I picked
I'm
this
going to go
topic.
on a rant.
I perceive that I picked a really good topic.
Here we go.
And the reality is I did.
So the emotions, right? We feel an emotion and we're like, oh man, my world's falling apart. I have anxiety. And then we start to have these thoughts around that anxiety. And then we start to have this perception around that anxiety. And then we create and anchor it in with these beliefs around that anxiety that we've created based on a chemical reaction in our body. Mm-hmm. Right. And then we decide that the world works this certain way. And then we go out and act and speak based on what we believe. And then it's what we act on and speak on that becomes our reality. So it becomes tangible in our world. Like we can't pass through it. It's measurable, right? So we have an emotion and we say, I'm anxious, and therefore we're anxious. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
It's like, I'm depressed. Well, therefore you're depressed. I am broke. Therefore you're broke. So that becomes your perception. And then that's what you create into your reality.
Into your reality.
Yep. So this guy's an asshole, right? As an example, this guy's an asshole. He becomes that to you, right? This guy. It could be this guy. I've been that, but it's up to you to interpret it. So as you interpret it and you start to speak it and create it in your world and act on that, then it becomes your reality. Mm-hmm. But the truth is that it's moldable. Like your perception can shift it. How is it that one person they can both experience the same event, yet one has a perception that it was positive and the other has a perception it was negative, and both of them are right?
I think about the Steve Hardison story about the motorcycle.
Yeah.
Right. Was that Steve Chandler that he took on a motorcycle ride?
It was two guys. It was Steve Chandler, and I think it was the owner of the company of is it Pluralsight? I don't know. It's not Pluralsight. I love the it's Hugh Jacobson. Yeah. So here's the story. Do you want to tell it, or do you want to?
I perceive that you're a better storyteller, and the reality is,
therefore,
you wrote a book.
No, I don't know. So he takes two guys on a motorcycle ride, 120 miles an hour, no helmets. They're flying down the same path, no difference in the path, the experience, any of it, the helmet, it's all the same. Steve Chandler comes back. He's like, that was freaking rad. That was awesome. Incredible. I can't wait to do that again. The other guy goes out, same ride, same experience, comes back. He's like, you are freaking insane. I will never ride with you again. You're trying to kill me. Right? Same experience. So how is it so different that they perceive it that way? Right? Italian. I'm going Italian on you.
Perception. Reality.
Perception. Reality. We could create a song, man. So Dry Rain. Love it. Yeah. Michael, thank you. That Dry Rain, right? It's how you want to perceive it. And so your reality becomes what you perceive. So what you think is true starts to show up in your world. And so we don't challenge that enough. Like you go out there and you talk it like it's the truth for everybody. No, that's your truth. And so when you can start to shift that perception and start to shift your beliefs underneath that perception, because it's those beliefs, it's those things that you hold dear. That's what the word belief means, is to hold something dear. And you could be holding on to things that you think are dear that are just straight garbage for your life, right? And you get to hold that as truth, and it shows up in your world as truth, and you have all this evidence that it's true because you're creating it. Because you're speaking
I think some people at home were like, wait, what? Yeah, you're creating it. Neat,
you're creating it. You're speaking it and you're acting it into the world. And I'm like throwing all these like
I'm doing like an interpretive dance as you're talking. Dry rain. Dry
rain. Speak it to the world. But you really are. You're like you're believing these things, and that perception, what it means is to thoroughly grasp your reality And the problem is, or the challenge is that if your beliefs are off, your perception is going to be off. And so challenge that. So spin it around. Like Byron Katie says, now turn it around, right? Turn it around. So is it true? Can that absolutely be true? How can you turn it around? Like, we don't do that enough. And that's where you get this chance to really take that belief and that perception and turn it around if it's not working for you. You definitely don't want to do that with the positive things. Like, man, my life is really good. I'm going to go screw that up. Right? I don't know.
Been there, done that. Then we get into self-sabotage. We'll talk about that later, everyone.
Man, that got me heated. Maybe for myself, like, yeah, self-sabotage. Yeah. My life is good. Like Nacho Libre.
Yeah.
My life is good. I get to wake up every morning and make breakfast for
These are the Lord's cheaps.
Where's the seasoning? Where are the cheaps? Do you not realize I've had diarrhea since Easter's?
There you go.
Lego Master,
reality.
Reframe. Yep.
Oh, here we go.
Question. How am I creating this? Absolutely. Yeah. How am I creating this? Only always. Because your perception of it is creating it. I remember, and we're going on a little long here, but I remember times at work where I'm in an environment with everybody else. I'm seeing it one way, they're seeing it another. Same environment, same events for all of us. All of us are experiencing it differently. And that perception is fallible. There's studies out there that talk about memory, and we think, oh, my memory is perfect. It's flawless. And then they did a study with people around the Twin Towers, right? People saw this on the news, and they remember being in the park when they saw the towers in New York City, and they were in California. Like, they remember being in New York, seeing this event, but they were in California watching it on TV. They weren't physically there, but they had the memory that they were there. I have a sister and a brother. One has the scar and the other has the experience. Like, one of them has the scar. How is it possible that you both have the same memory and you're both right, but one of you has the scar? Like, we think our memories are not fallible, but they are, which means that our beliefs are fallible, which means that we can turn them around and change them. And so your perception is only always based on your beliefs, and those beliefs impact your world by what you're speaking and creating out there. You can have the negative thoughts. You can have the negative emotions. Just don't act and speak on them. Turn them around before you act and speak on them.
Flip and reframe. Be the Lego master, says Jen.
Flip and reframe it.
Flip and reframe it.
Cool. I went off there, but it seems like this is hitting for a lot of people this morning.
It was great. That was perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, good choice, man. Or maybe it was just a choice, and I just perceived it as good. Yeah. Could be something else.
I might go do a native sweat.
Yeah. That would be
right
cool.
now.
Hugh, that would be awesome. The White Buffalo, Hugh Jacobson. Guys, thank you for watching. Ryan, any other thoughts? Did that kind of help you with what you were wondering?
The reality of today's show was that it was amazing.
Perfect.
So soak it in.
Soak it. Soak it in. Let's see this comment here.
Yes.
The only podcast in the world that covers fractals, farts, diarrhea in one sitting. I'm guessing that diarrhea. Yeah, that is a problem. That's when a fart goes too far.
Yeah.
Yeah, not good.
We went almost the whole episode without all those F words.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that in. My favorite words, start with F, and fractal is one of them. But it's these are. I'm in learning. It's not like, oh, I speak these and I got it all figured out. I don't. I still battle my beliefs. Like, it's like I still perceive things, and it's like, I got to shift that. I got to turn that around. And so I'm very conscious of what I speak and act on in the world, because it definitely impacts my reality. And so,
the last one,
froth. Man, we got a lot of good F words. Froth. Okay, so
that'll be our next show.
Yeah, froth.
Have you ever wondered about how many F words we say on a show?
Yeah.
Buckle up,
And,
kids.
and interestingly, like it's PG. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway. Okay, guys. Well, thank you for watching. Make it a giant day. If you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, go do that because it's pretty rad. In fact,
The raddest.
we got an offer yesterday from Limelight TV to explore taking this onto the networks. Melissa Ross and Clarissa Burt, thank you for that offer, and we'll explore that with you. But if you're not following us on YouTube, go do that. And if you're not a member of the Tribe of Giants and you're watching this on YouTube, go back to Facebook and join that. Yeah.
Come on over.
Come
the water's warm.
It's warm, except when it's not. All right, guys. Make it a giant day. We'll see you in the next video.
Love you too.